Hello everyone, my name is Chloe and I'm here today with Raven and Shania to discuss Night and some of its most prominent ideas. Let's start out with why we need memoirs such as Night. Raven, do you have any thoughts?
Well, I feel like it gives a more personal tone to what actually happened, because in like history books, you get told what's happened. It's not like you get like a personal, in-depth like run through of what actually happened to like each person. You just hear like a basic overflow or something like that. Shania?
I agree. It provides a more human element. It makes you really feel the kind of horrors more when you can hear about first-hand accounts instead of just basic facts that you read in history books. Chloe, do you have any thoughts?
I think you guys got it pretty well down. Do you think we all have a responsibility to remember the past?
I believe that we do. I believe that if we neglect the past, then we are likely to repeat it, and we're likely to repeat the same kind of deaths and tragedy and pain if we do not remember the past. But, Raven, do you have any?
Basically, what you said, like we need to learn from it so we don't repeat our mistakes. Like a lot of crazy stuff happened then, and who wants to do that again? Nobody.
Are people seeing the value in the past, or are they just kind of ignoring it and moving on without really seeing what happened in the past and trying to learn from it?
I don't know.
I feel as though, like, nowadays some people are starting to forget it. They can see it, but they don't care enough to follow to follow the warnings, and even sometimes people are just completely neglecting it, especially in the case of neo-Nazism, with relevance to this book, and Holocaust denial. People are just trying to deny all that's happened and all the suffering that has gone on.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are trying to learn from it and like make things better, but some just kind of want to stay in that little bubble, like how it used to be good for them and not good for some people. Like with all the Black Lives Matter stuff, like people want to progress and some just don't. Stuff like that. Chloe?
It seems like some people are just switching it up. Like, I am seeing patterns of what's happening now and what's happening in the past. Well, what happened in the past. But it's just certain things are switched up. Like, when it used to be, how do I say this? It seems as though in the past it was men ahead of women in status and everything. Now it seems like people are trying to raise women higher than men rather than like having it actually equal. That's what I'm seeing with this, and then the same thing with like all sorts of stuff, and it's crazy.
So could you compare that to how the Germans believed themselves about the Jews? Like, suppose you could get into the dehumanization. They viewed them as lesser, and it kind of fueled this whole campaign against the Jews. Do you feel like there's some connection there?
I feel like there is, because you're putting a certain aspect of someone above something else. Like, it was the Jewish faith that was from what the Nazis said was below the Nazis. It was because of their faith that they were below them. And now it's just people are picking out certain groups of other people and they're trying to bring it down.
See, I'm going to draw on something that you mentioning faith. So yes, they were targeted because of their faith, but during their time in the concentration camps, especially for Elie Wiesel, he mentioned how he began to lose his faith. Do you feel that this should have impacted the Nazi view towards Jews, or that it was just their hatred towards Jews had evolved so much that they could never have stopped?
I think, honestly, for the Nazis, that the Jewish faith was just an excuse to bring a mass amount of people into the camps, and I believe it's said in the books actually that it wasn't just Jewish people in the concentration camps. They were taking all sorts of people and just bringing them into these camps, and like so many different kinds of people from all different places were coming in and being killed and suffering, and all sorts of awful stuff were happening to all sorts of people.
So do you believe that this, all this suffering was caused by some sort of underlying unrest within the German people?
I'm not sure. I could see it that way. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Raven.
Hi. Well, it's weird. It's weird to think about, like, why just Jews? Like, why not, like, people from, like, China or India? Why them? It's weird. It's weird to think about. For me, I think they mostly wanted dominance. Because this is, like, the Second World War. So, I don't know. Shania, what are your thoughts?
I feel like that at that point there was some unrest, and they were just looking for someone to vent that unrest. They needed a scapegoat. They needed someone to blame. And the Jews became the primary target for that. And so they committed these horrendous acts because they didn't know what else to do. Any other way to release that unrest.
Like, I don't know, but...
That was an interesting point. I'm afraid that's all we have time for today. Thank you for joining us.